Welcome everybody to the Wake Up Call channel. Some of you may have been bombarded on this platform with ads to donate to Joe Biden or Donald Trump, more specifically on this platform, of course, for Joe Biden. And I wanted to do a video to talk about how large of a psychosis, how deep of a hypnosis do you have to be under to actually donate money to these people. Let's think about that for a second. That you're so deep into mind control and you're so gaslit that you're getting past the notion of these people actually being billionaires and millionaires like Biden and Trump are, that you would take your own hard-earned money and invest it in a political campaign where, again, you don't know where the money goes to. These people control the media, so they don't really need money to get ad time, because the media and the government are one and the same. It's all one giant communist machine that we see them utilizing against the American people. So what type of hypnosis do you have to be under is the question. And when you look at some of these ads that I'll play for you, keep in mind how the alt-right media and the Dem media try to get the audience to invest in this. And there's reasons psychologically as to why. We saw Tim Pool, these alt-right uncensored people who pretend to be censored, Jack Posobiec, who are doing their job. Remember, these people were brought in to replace a lot of old YouTubers, one of which sounded a lot like this guy, who are no longer able to be found on these platforms, who have been forced over to platforms where they're not going to reach a large amount of people. They put people like Tim Pool in there. They put people like Jack Posobiec in there. They hijacked the movement. And of course, that is by design, because these are people who are keeping you in the left-right paradigm. That is the illusion they cannot have you get over, because there is a large percentage of the population that are people like us, and a small percentage that are the Donald Trumps and the Joe Bidens of the world, the rulers of the world, the principalities who are keeping people under mass deception. So those people came out after Trump, of course, part of the charade of the trial that he's under, was convicted of these felony charges. All the alt-right media came out and they talked about how we all need to donate, how they're donating themselves. Even Alex Jones coming out saying, well, decide what side you're on, because they need you to invest emotionally in this election, because everything that's going to come out of this fake election is psychological. There is a way to break free from their control. You could break free from the technology, you could break free from the hypnosis, and you cannot participate in this. They need you to participate in this. So if you haven't seen some of these ads, it's incredible that these people come out here, Obama, Trump, Biden, and they ask their audience to donate $5 to them. They don't obviously need the money. So what you ask yourself, why are they asking people for money? Well, it's part of the illusion. And when people invest money, just like when you invest in a stock or a company, you become a part of it. You invest money in a stock, you're a part of the company. You invest money in a local business, you're a partial owner in that business. That's why they want you to invest money in it. Look at these charade ads of these guys who are worth billions of dollars asking the peasants out there to give money. It's not because they need money, it's because they need you to be emotionally invested in this psychological operation.
Here's 5 reasons why I'm asking you to donate $5 to my campaign with some help from a friend. Hey, Barack.
Hey, Joe.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Number 1, our last campaign was powered by donations from grassroots supporters like you.
Number 2, your donations are the reason President Biden won the last election. And when he won, he built on our progress with the ACA. He passed the biggest climate bill in world history. And he brought our economy back from crisis. That's because of you.
Number 3, we've got a lot more progress to make, protecting voting rights, protecting Social Security and Medicare, fighting for our fundamental freedom to love, to make your own health care choices, and to read certain books to your kids. We can't do it without you.
Number 4, Joe might even call you.
Not a joke. And number 5, we're up against the first real fundraising deadline in the campaign, and we need you with us. It really makes a difference to me, and I really appreciate it. So take it from me.
And me.
And go to joebiden.com to join our campaign.
But if you could chip in, if you've done well, if you've remembered those great 4 years that we had where you made a lot, We need your help in posting massive numbers because the other side will spend billions and billions of dollars to stop us. That's the only thing that can possibly stop us. They raise so much money from many of the wrong people. So get in there. If you can afford it, chip in, and let's get it done. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable how they spin this stuff. And again, they don't need your money, and everybody out there should know that, right? But when you invest in these things, you feel like you're a part of it. You feel like, all right, I'm investing in Trump's campaign. So I'm investing in change. I'm investing in this movement. I'm investing in stopping this tyranny from happening. But what you're really doing is you're emotionally investing yourself in the psychological operation that is this fake election. These tyrants have taken over our government. They've taken over and they run these corporations, these brands that we all know of, these household names from Apple to Nike, you name it. And what they're doing right here is trying to get you to mentally invest in this stuff, right? So like I showed earlier, they brought the alt-right media, and some of the stories that are out there now, of course, every story we hear in the news is fictional, but they're talking about how Trump is raising more money than ever before after being convicted. This is all done by design, because think about what that says to your fellow Americans, right? If you're a Republican and you invest in this after the so-called trial, let's put ourselves in the mindset that they're in, right? They all believe that all this stuff with Trump really occurred, that Trump's really, convicted of these felonies, that he's being persecuted by the same government that he's a part of, the same secret societies, right? So the mindset of these people is, well, we're going to donate to help him because we don't want it to happen to us next. And that's how Trump is marketing it to the audience, to the Republican audience. You're going to be next. You know, they're coming for you next. I'm just in between you and them. That's the mindset, right? They all believe this psychosis that they're in when Trump is obviously gaslighting them. Think about it from a Democrat perspective. They're putting these stories out there deliberately, right? You wouldn't know how much money Trump was making in donations unless they wanted you to know. Have you ever heard this before? 20 years ago, did you hear about Bill Clinton or George Bush's campaign? Did you hear how much money they raised? You never would hear about it. They want you to hear about it. Why? They want you to hear about it because Democrats hear this and they go, wow, our fellow Americans are so psychologically warped that they're pumping their money into this guy despite the fact that he's guilty of a felony, despite the fact that he's a criminal. They're investing in a criminal. And thus the division continues to spread. Because remember, they want you to be held accountable. We're going to be held accountable. The people who vote, the people who donate to this stuff. Instead of saying, you know what? I don't like any of these people. I don't like either party. I don't think any of them are actually working for us. Well, why don't we do something about it? Why don't the civilians throw them out of power, which the Constitution still to this day gives us the authority to do, or the Bill of Rights? Well, they don't want you thinking that way. They want you thinking that the change comes at the ballot box. That's the common theme, right? The change comes at the ballot box, everybody. When you go and you fake vote in our fake election, that's where the change comes. So then after we tell you the outcome of this that you're supposed to believe, because that's what happens, right? They tell us on this television set the results of this fake election, and we're supposed to believe it. They don't give us any evidence of it. They just tell us. That's how dumbed down our society has become. Where we go, CNN is fake. The news is fake. Fake, 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 right? But then when these stories come out in the news about shootings, etc., we're supposed to believe them, right? And the majority of people do. Then when the results of the election come out, we're supposed to believe them without any evidence. Nobody says, well, can we watch every single person, write down the name of the person? Can we tally it live like the Truman Show? Can we watch it for 24 hours, for however many days it takes to get every single vote accounted for? Can we make sure that every citizen does vote because it is a real election, so they should have some say in it? No, they're making you partake in something that's not real. And then they're telling you the predetermined outcome. And that's how they keep you in a psychosis. So these people on election day, or I should say selection day, because that's what it is, they actually sit there, they watch the television set that they don't believe in, that they say is fake news, and then they believe the results that come. Now, we know that the outcome of this election not only predetermined, we know that each side is not going to agree upon the outcome. They've already told us that, right? If you're paying attention, you know that, you should know that that is what's coming. If Biden is announced the winner, the Republicans will say it's rigged. If Trump is announced the winner, the Democrats will say it's rigged. They have the pre-built-in boogeymen, right? The Trump side is that Putin and Russia have done some type of collusion. The other side is that the Democrats have rigged the election. This is all, I mean, it's amazing how most people out there don't see it. when it's done in November, when they give you the fake outcome, one side is not going to believe it. Thus, we're going to begin the spreading, the separating, the hurting of Republicans and Democrats. And Democrats, to go back to my point about the donation, the Democrats are going to use that as well as fuel, because they're going to say, look, all of these conservatives, they knew that Trump was a felon. He was convicted of being a criminal. They refused to believe it. Look at how Joe Biden accepts the outcome of his son's trial. They won't accept the outcome of Trump's trial. And not only that, they funded this. They financially, while Donald Trump was going bankrupt, it was the American people, the Republicans, who funded this. They're responsible for this. We don't want to live among these people anymore. These people are not American citizens anymore. These people are out of control terrorists. And this is all how a psychosis works, right? You get your alt-right media who is gaslighting everybody out there to believe in all of this circus, this scam, sham trial that is occurring with Trump. Like I said, it's so obvious as to why they had Trump's trial and Hunter Biden's trial back to back. They could have done these with 6 months apart. They just conveniently have them 1 week after the next, right? Both people found guilty. But what are they doing? Oh, well, one of them's probably going to go to jail, Trump, and the other one is going to not have to go to jail, Biden. And what is that going to do to gaslight the people out there? Oh my gosh, they're both guilty, but how come Trump has to go to prison and Biden doesn't have to go to prison? How come the Trump supporters don't accept the outcome of this conviction and the Biden supporters do accept the outcome? Joe Biden says he accepts the outcome because he believes in democracy. And it shows you how flipped everything is, right? Because the Democrats out there, the talking points are about the rule of law. The Democrats believe in the law, Joe Biden believes in the law, and the Republicans don't. But it couldn't be more flipped, the reality of it, right? Because if you look at it from the outside perspective, right? I have no emotional investment in Republicans or Trump. I obviously know that Trump is controlled. I understand conservatives' perspectives on things because it's the right perspective. But when you look at it fully away from it, right? You can obviously see what they're doing with Donald Trump, right? It's a ridiculous, the whole trial is ridiculous. The whole notion of what he's getting, criminalized for is ridiculous. That's done by design. That's why they made the entire thing this ridiculous hush money thing where it's not even really a crime in the first place. But to make him guilty of it makes conservatives question the whole process, right? The Democrats are in such a warped reality that they think what he did is really a crime. And then you see what Joe Biden is openly, really guilty of, the stuff with China, the money, the treason. And then you see Hunter Biden, what he's guilty of, where he should be in jail for the stuff that they show you, which is done by design, with him with a crack pipe and all this stuff to gaslight you. Again, that's why it's all out there, because the media wouldn't even put it out there if obviously they didn't want it out there, because it's a means of mind control. It's a means of gaslighting, right? So the Democrats have such a warped perspective that they actually can't even realize that the Democrats are the ones who are really not following the law. Not that it matters at this point, because, it's all getting nuked. The whole Constitution, it's all getting nuked. That's the design that we have in play here. Both sides to cancel each other out. But it's amazing the warped perspective that Democrats have. They look at this and they're like, the conservatives aren't following the law. They don't believe in the law. They believe they're above the law, when it's clear that Democrats are the ones who are really above the law. Right? They go around, they tell you to do this, do that. They don't do it themselves. They obviously are censoring everybody out there. At least people like us are the ones that are really getting censored, right? The Posobiec's, the Tim Pools are not censored. Why are they not censored? Because they're keeping you in the left-right paradigm. So the donation thing to me is one of the funniest things I've seen. Because really, when you sit back and think about it, nobody does. They just see the ad. They're like, this is normal. Because remember, through schooling, high school, et cetera, we used to have debate classes and all that type of stuff. They'd have their fake Congress and all these things that kids did after school to learn the structure of government. Of course, it was done by design. This works perfectly with what's happening now because they all believe that it's real. They all believe that this fake setup that we've been told is real, so that we're actually in power when we're not. They're tyrants in power, and they're psychologically convincing you that you're doing all this stuff instead of just throwing them out of power, which is what should really be done, right? So we see, people see it. They're like, oh, Trump's asking for money. Oh, Biden is. They don't even think for one second, well, these are billionaires asking for money. And then if they do think that for a second, they just roll their eyes. They don't realize why they're actually asking when they don't need the money. Because emotionally, right, it's like investing in a stock. It's like investing in a local company. When you invest in this, not only does it bring you closer to the psychological or closer to the process of thinking that your vote actually counts, but psychologically, you feel drawn more into this. And that's what they want. They want to make sure that you feel as drawn into this psyop as possible. That way, when they fix the outcome, which it is, because it's not real, they'll be able to move you around like a pawn in their game. It's as clear and as simple as that. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always, and your families.